Hello fellow We Seek Thestrals members, Renee Lupin here, and I once again apologise for being so late in presenting my video for this week. My computer was dead for the entirety of this past week and only was just brought back to life last night. It seems that I just always have that computer that manages to cark itself every now and then and get viruses every other day, even though apparently no one else's computer does that anymore because that's so 2003. I just happen to have technology that backfires on me all the time and does the stuff it's not meant to do anymore. So it's frustrating. Anyhoozle, this week's discussion topic is the Wizarding world versus the Muggle world, and the pros and cons of both, and what one could possibly learn from the other. And I'm actually quite proud because it was my suggestion, and so I'm going to look like a right fool if I have nothing interesting to say. I've loved watching Bex and Kelly, your videos on this topic, and I've found them very interesting and informative, and I've agreed with a lot of the stuff you both said. What I will say, the reason I think that I decided this topic needed to be addressed was possibly because we have a tendency, being the wizarding folk that we are, we have a tendency to look at the wizarding community and lifestyle and universe with somewhat rose-coloured glasses sometimes. And every now and then we may just unconsciously take that elitist view that people like the Malfoys really ran with, that wizards are so much better than muggles, and our way of living completely trumps theirs. Now, because we all, of course, came from muggle living prior to our entry into Hogwarts, we know both worlds, rather like Harry himself and Hermione. We've experienced both, and so we can compare and contrast all the time. And I think that it's safe to say that there is so much that is exhilarating and exciting in the wizarding world, because, of course, the bonus of magic being there to assist you, the kind of benefits it provides in terms of like basic needs like transportation and healing medicine is fantastic. Then of course, you know, you get to meddle with things and attempt feats that you would never be able to conceive or try in the Muggle world. So, I mean, that's certainly a bonus. But also just the idea, especially of being at Hogwarts and having the opportunity to learn and master this craft and your particular area of magic, and learning all about control and limitations and what you can do. It's all very exciting. That said though, I think that really when you boil it down, when you remove the massive, you know, dictating component of magic, essentially wizarding life and muggle life are very much the same, particularly in the things that are flawed within those ways of living. I mean, we all know that the wizarding society has every bit as much prejudice, its own kind of racism and intolerance and violence, and to some degree I think a lot of the time that the wizarding community could be called into question even more, because rather like people who say that if you're reading a novel and it features a supernatural romantic interest and they are not being too nice to their partner, then it's even more questionable and reprehensible, because they, with all these enlightened features about them, should know to treat someone better. Well, likewise in the wizarding community, if you have the advantage of magic and everything that it can bring you, and the wisdom that can come from its use and its practice and the study and the history of everything, and all the additional things that it can bring to your lifestyle, well then really shouldn't that sort of diminish the need for all these ugly sides of human nature? But rather they're actually, in their own way, kind of amplified in wizarding life. So I guess I just find it disappointing, I suppose. I guess it just also goes to show, though, that when stripped of magic and you know, that way of thinking and way of being. Human beings are still human beings. I guess it just boils down to that. And ultimately I think that really muggles and wizards alike still have the same life lessons to learn, ultimately, in terms of how they treat people, how they treat themselves, how we interact with one another, and the way in which we live and grow as people and as a race. Then, yeah, I mean, I think it ultimately it's the same lessons that need to be learned. Yes, I didn't really address Muggle living, I suppose, but I mean, there are some things that I do miss while being at Hogwarts. For example, Kelly addressed music, the fact that wizarding bands, wizard rock, as cool as it can be, sometimes just isn't that fantastic. I mean, it is upsetting to walk the corridors of Hogwarts and turn to people and say, hey, do you remember when the Spice Girls did this? And some of them look a little befuddled, and I think you lived in a world where you never encountered the Spice Girls. Some would say that's a blessing, but I think that's quite a shame. Also, television. I mean, wizards have their own TV shows that they like to watch, of course, but Gilmore Girls. Thank goodness Kelly, of course, is at Hogwarts, because otherwise I would have no one to talk about my love of Gilmore Girls with. I think that, you know, every now and then it's nice to kind of ease back from the extra kind of rush that you get whilst being in the wizarding community, and it's kind of nice to come home, take a breather, just settle back into the lifestyle you used to know, and appreciate the things that, you know, might seem laughably commonplace or eccentric to the wizarding eye, but, you know, kind of just nice to be home sometimes. I'm just rambling. I have nothing else to say and I'm not making sense, so I'm going to go now. Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm not sure who would be coming after me now, so yeah, once again I'll just have to say hello to everyone, and I'll see you all later. And thank you for doing this discussion, even if I butchered it.